I'm so glad you're here. Let's start. Well, hello. It's Virtual Halston, episode 10. Episode 10. We've done 10 of these already. Well, before we even start the show, I want to do a thank you and a shout out to Adam Feldman from Time Out. Thank you, Adam. And Len Berman and Michael Riedel from WOR. They interviewed me about Virtual Halston. People have been supporting Virtual Halston, and I want to thank you. And what is new with me? Well, I had a manicure. Can you see it? Yeah, I had a manicure. I know I could be doing this myself, and I did it once myself, but I just finally had to do it. And I have to say, I went to a place on 8th Avenue, and it was very, very well done. You walked in with a mask, and they took your temperature. Mine was 98.1. You had to sign paperwork that you hadn't been like overseas, that you had quarantined, that you have no symptoms. And everything was done so well. First of all, I was the only person in there except for someone getting a pedicure 20 feet away. And there was plastic guards everywhere. Everything was disinfected at all times. I never washed my hands so much in my life. Every step of the way, you have to wash your hands and disinfect. Anyway, it was really fantastic. I was very impressed. It was very hazmat-y. I don't know if that's a word, hazmat-y, but I like saying it. And it was well done. So I feel very good. I just feel a tiny bit more human, if you know what I mean. And speaking of a tiny bit more human, can we bring in Jim Caruso, my partner in crime? Where is he?
I don't know if I enjoy that tiny human thing. Is that how you want to?
No, actually, no, probably not. Yeah, a tiny bit more human. I know it's a little weird. Anyway, I'm just
your fingers have never looked better, Julie.
Yeah, what can I say? There they
are.
There
they are again.
There they are. Anyway, Jim, I just have to say, I'm going off script. I'm going rogue. I just happened to read on Facebook that you just got a new vacuum cleaner. A Dyson? Something.
Thanks for explaining the glorious kind of glamour of my life. I got one of those enormous Dyson vacuum cleaners. And okay, I'm a little OCD. I'm very clean. I've cleaned my apartment like twice a week.
Oh yeah.
With the vacuuming and everything. And I have a floor and rugs, of course. So I thought, well, it's clean, but I got a new vacuum cleaner, so I'm gonna try it out. I can't tell you what came up out of my carpeting.
Right. Like, yeah.
Horrifying.
Arlene Francis was found.
The Lindbergh baby.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God.
Horrifying. So now,
Ruta Lee was found.
Was she missing?
Who were these people?
God, I hope she wasn't missing. No, it was great. But thanks for bringing that up.
Okay.
Thanks.
But now, Jim, I just want to tell people, you just sent this to me. Look at this, guys. It says, wait. Darling, can you see it? Darling, Julie Halston. It's in white and purple. It is those are my colors. You know, I'm wearing purple again tonight. This mug is so fabulous. I'm having my adult beverage in a coffee cup, but I love it so much. Darling, don't you think
it's so you?
It's so me. I love it so much. Now, darling, don't you think that we should have a little contest and somebody should win?
A mug. I do think that.
Maybe also some eyelashes, because the $7.99 eyelashes, because they've gone up. They keep going up. Every week I go to Dwayne Reed and somehow the eyelashes have gone up. Like the facial wipes are the same, but why are the eyelashes going up? Is this some kind of rare? What's happening? But anyway, what about we have a little contest? I don't know. Should we bring Ruby in?
I love this idea.
Yeah.
Ruby always has great ideas.
She has great ideas.
Let's bring her in. Ruby Lochner.
Hello, Julie. Hello,
Oh,
Jim. Flashing off my manicure. No.
No, wait, you didn't go. Did you go to a manicurist or did you what? How did you do this?
No, I'm still in that phase of just, trying to be overly cautious. And unless I'm like missing a finger, not going anywhere. But I actually made it one of my projects in quarantine. I feel like I'm pretty good at like maintaining my beauty routine. For years, I've cut and colored my own hair. So I've done that for a really long time. But during quarantine, I learned how to do my own acrylics. So I basically brought the nail salon into my home. And I've got to say, it's been really fun.
Okay, yeah. Another feather in Ruby's cap.
But can we just say we're the dullest people in the world? I'm vacuuming. She's doing her own acrylics.
And
It's
I'm
happening.
doing a hazmatty.
You are.
And I'm hazmatty. Yeah. But don't you feel better having had a manicure?
Oh yeah, I always say it's funny. I don't feel really complete if my nails aren't done. Maybe that's because I do so much like producing work and I'm in front of the camera. But like, and I talk with my hands a lot because hello, Jew and New Yorker, so hand action is always a thing. So I don't know. I just always feel better when my nails are done.
Of course you do. Well, what we were thinking, Ruby, and we thought maybe you might come up with an idea. We want to give away a darling mug and some eyelashes, and we think maybe a contest. I mean, I know at one time we talked about people submitting videos of what? Of my voice or something? What was that about?
I think we need to do this, actually. I was thinking about this. I really think we mentioned this like our first episode, and we hadn't really gathered our bearings yet. So I think we need to re-announce it here.
Okay.
I think we need to do a Julie Halston impersonation contest because you are so fabulous and there is truly no one else like you. But people can surely try. So I think they should send their submissions in. And I think they can
send it to my email. They can send it to my
absolutely.
There we
There's
go.
the email.
There's the email.
Perfect.
That because Ruby's so technically proficient. You send in, I guess, a video of like, what does Julie Halston sound like?
Or an audio, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, a video or an audio, 30 seconds, whatever, of Julie Halston. And you too can have a darling mug and eyelashes for $7.99. And by the time when we pick a winner, they'll be $8.99. But I'll buy them for you and we'll send them to you. I think this would be fun.
You're a giver, Julie.
Okay. Well, this will be wonderful. I'm very excited about this. Bring it on. Bring it on. Ruby, you're not only can you do your own acrylics, but you're a phenom, you're a force. She has her whole life ahead of her, Jim. Bye, Ruby.
Bye-bye.
She's
so annoying, right?
So annoying. She's too cute and she does her own acrylics. I don't even know what that means, to be honest. I don't really know what that means, but I just shook my head.
Yeah, just nod, just agree. Julie, wait, I have to break in again, going off script. Yesterday, I'm going to brag on you a little bit. Yesterday, okay, we shot Julie's one-woman show at Birdland, where she's done many, many, many shows. We have a wonderful theater downstairs called the Birdland Theater. Yeah. And we're doing a new series with BroadwayWorld.com where we are recording live performances with no audience. And the series is called Radio Free Birdland. And let me tell you, it's,
there it is. There's the, yes. Yay.
So one of our very first ones was Julie Halston, who got to do comedy for nobody.
Well, I did it for you, Jim, because the fact is, literally, it was bizarre. I have to say, I was,
I was in the corner like.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact.
And by the way, let me say, everybody is masked. Everybody is 100 feet from each other. No audience. One cameraman, 3 cameras, 1 tech guy. Yeah. That's it.
It was great though. And the fact is, I kind of knew like where you were laughing. And I kind of do my act for you anyway. So it didn't really matter that there wasn't really an audience, but on the same level, it was very odd. But I have to say, it was great to be just on a stage. Just on a stage. It was so lovely. And I mean, I was so happy to have hair and makeup. And like I even said, I was starting to look like the final stages of Georgia O'Keeffe. So this was a big thrill for me. Big thrill. So thank you. And yeah, we'll let people know when it
We will let people know. I think these are going to start rolling out next month, but we will absolutely let you know. Yeah. It's going to be fantastic. And a lot of incredible Broadway performers are part of this series. So we'll be publicizing all of it. So thank you for bragging about me. That's very pretty great. Very proud of you.
Might be just tuning in, Jim, and they might be like, "What is this? Why is Michael Lerner doing a talk show?" I look like Michael Lerner, don't I? Anyway, wow, she's looking good, I guess.
And Irene Ryan.
And stop. Anyway, why do we do this? We do this because we want you to have fun. This is a very strange time. It's an unprecedented time, as we all know. We want to provide laughter and entertainment. We want to have good conversation. And we also want to give a portion of everything that we make to the wonderful Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation, which is near and dear to my heart. That was the disease that my husband had and ultimately did pass away from. Oh, there's the PayPal and Venmo. So please feel free. We've been so lucky. You know, people seem to love this show and they've been so generous. And if you can, anything, $5, $10, $150, whatever, no donation too small, too large. But we're so thrilled and thank you. And that's why we're doing this. So anyway, Jim,
Julie.
As you know, I like to start the show with an aspirational quote.
You do.
And I do a lot of Joan Crawford, but this time I thought, people are starting to get out of their sweatpants. They're starting to go back to work. You know what I mean? There's a little bit more movement, particularly in New York City. I thought I'd give a quote, an aspirational quote from a great New York dame. She was really one of society's greatest doyens. Her name was Anne Slater, and she had one of the best quotes in the world. Her quote is this: "A woman needs 4 animals in her life: a mink in her closet, a tiger in bed, a jaguar in the garage, and an ass to pay for it all." Now, isn't that the best? There she is.
Come on.
Come on.
Julie, it's kind of you, Julie.
Well, you know what? It's what I aspire to, but she really, those glasses and the look.
Best. Yes, she was known for those blue glasses.
Look, Libby Whitmore, aspirational. There she is.
Libby.
I want that jacket. I want those glasses, the hair. It was very Rita Marshall from Tootsie.
It's true. But when you'd see her out at an opening or an event, it's very invigorating to see somebody that cares so much about the visual. She dressed for us, for her viewers. It was so fun. I love the line, "Dress like you're going somewhere better after." Oh, like that. Because you're absolutely right, and I actually my late husband was so good about this too. He loved dressing up to go to the office, and he was never casual Fridays. You know what I mean? Right.
His idea of casual Fridays was maybe like a plain tie. That was his idea of casual Fridays, and he just said, "I like to look my best. It makes me do my best." And I just, well, you're that person too. And I think it's thoughtful. So I'm just telling everyone, it's time to get out of those sweatpants.
That's right.
Right. Put on a sparkle top, put some earrings on. Right.
And the women too.
I was going to say.
Julie, the better you dress, the worse you can behave.
Thank you. And that's
I just made that up.
Aspirational quote. Oh my God. No, that's
Yeah.
the best. Oh, Jim,
I need a
I
mug.
love that.
I need a mug.
Well, now let me say, I'm very excited about our
I know
guest
you are.
today.
Me too.
I really am. I was, it's like, ooh. I mean, talk about a great dame. You know what I mean? This is one of those great dames. So I think I'm going to bring on our first guest, and we'll have a lot to talk about. And we will see Jim Caruso later, because he may be changing his tie. You just never know. Well, she really is a TV legend. She's a film and a Broadway star. You know her from Grease, Taxi, Evening Shade, a million different films, Broadway, Over Here, Chicago, Pal Joey. She had her own talk show. She's a best-selling author. She's a dancer, a singer, an actress, an author. Yes, she also has superior autobiographical memory. She's very famous for that. She's been on a million game shows, talk shows. She's gorgeous. She's talented. She does everything. And I've never heard a bad word against her. And we're pretty gossipy people here in the Broadway community. And we know, what's up with those people. You never hear a bad word about the great Mary Lou Henner. Let's bring her in.
Thank you so much. What an introduction.
You don't hear a bad word about you.
Oh, well, I guess I just have a good publicist. I don't know.
No. We work around.
I'm from the Midwest. I'm one of 6 kids. And I always say to people, when you're one of 6 kids, you kind of grow up with benign neglect. So
yes,
no one is a diva. No one throws, it's like, oh, you want to throw a tantrum? Well, do it in your bedroom, because there's a party in the kitchen.
Exactly.
So you can get away with stuff in my house. You just didn't. And so
one thing I wanted to bring up actually was a friend of mine, Peter Bartlett, who's actually going to be in Mrs. Doubtfire. You know Peter Bartlett. He was friends.
I'm a little girl. He played opposite my sister Joanne at Loyola University all the time. And I was the little girl, the 9-year-old, carrying her script going like, I want to be an actress too. And Peter was just like Mr. Talented. And they did so many things together.
I'm so glad. And he when I told him that you were going to be on, he was like, you don't understand. I know the family. And then he said one of the greatest things that he always remembered was that your mom would always make rice pilaf.
Yeah.
Every time she saw Peter, he had a little Tupperware thing or something of rice pilaf from your mom.
Oh, that makes me cry. You know what? We have to get numbers, exchange our numbers, but also Peter, because my sister Joanne will go crazy. She'll go crazy just being.
No, it's so great. So I just wanted to start with that. But let me ask you, I mean, we're so delighted to have you. First of all, how are you doing? What are you doing? And where are you?
Okay, first of all, I'm in Vancouver, and I've been here for almost 4 weeks. I quarantined for the first 2 weeks. I guess I've been here 3 weeks and 2 days. So we came here, Candace Cameron Bure and I came here to do the rest of the movie. We started in March, then they pulled. We all went under quarantine at our homes, and then we came back here to quarantine together. We said we'd do it together. They got us a beautiful house so we could be together. They were a little nervous about like, oh, are they going to be too upset? And is it going to be hard for them? Please, this was one of the best experiences of my life. She is incredible. She plays my daughter. We're born on the same day, but years apart. But our kids are almost the same age, because she had them very early. I had mine late. And so we never run out of things to say. And it's like, be careful what you wish for, because we got this and it's even better than we expected.
Oh, so, this is fantastic. This is great. So this is great. You're in Vancouver, but now can we take you down memory lane a little bit? Because I've done so much research on you. Your career is so really, it's kind of a fabled career, a really storied career. You've done everything. But I found, because you were in the original production of Grease at Kingston Mines Theater Company. We have that poster. There we go.
There we are. That's crazy. You found that.
Yes, I found it. Well, you can find anything on the internet. But I had heard or read somewhere that production was a lot more raw and gritty and dirty than what eventually became what we know as Grease. Is that true? What was that like?
Well, first of all, you have to, can I swear on this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we were this gang of girls and guys that were so not the way I grew up, or I was like little Miss Goody Two Shoes in Catholic school and all this.
Uh-huh.
And I was 15 when I met Jim Jacobs, who wrote it. I was 17 when I got the call, and he said, "I've written this show. It may never get on the ground." So we did it in a converted trolley barn. It was so raunchy that my mother was really funny. She said, "I don't care if you take your clothes off." But because I said "fuck you" in it 7 times, she didn't want to come and see the show.
I love it. I love it.
And I was one of the few people who swore. The show was 75% book, 25% music, and there was all these different scenes that didn't end up being in the Broadway show. And of course, they added a lot of music, but the roots were there. And it was such a Chicago show, and it was great. And I have friends for life. Jim Canning, who did end up playing Duty on Broadway, and of course Jim Jacobs. I just talked to both of them a couple days ago.
Oh, well, there you go. See, you're a Greek Polish Chicago girl.
I am.
There you are. And then you went on the national tour, and then you've told the story about how you did become, and so many people fell in love with you as Elaine Nardo. But you tell the story about how you had many auditions, and your mom, of course, was very sick, and it's a very poignant story about how you didn't know if you should go to the audition, I guess the final callback or whatever. Was she in the hospital at that point?
She was in the hospital. What happened was I had gone home to Chicago, and it was very strange for me not to be working. And a lot of the jobs that I was up for, because once I started becoming an actress, I just started working one Broadway show or movie or whatever.
Right.
Very, very lucky. Those early stages of one's career where things fall into place.
Yes.
Anyway, so there was this break of time, and I kept thinking, I'm not getting jobs that are for like April and May and something. Anyway, thank God, because she took so ill. My mother was teaching dancing in December, went to bed with the flu in January, brutal Chicago winter, went into the hospital in February. She had her leg amputated, and she passed away in May. But the last 2 months of her life, or 6 weeks of her life, I was able to go to Chicago, and we didn't know how sick she was. So we went to Chicago. I went to Chicago, and the only time I left her bedside was to go to audition for the show Taxi, because I had a feeling about it and she had a feeling about it. So she let me go, and I would come back immediately. And I auditioned, and on my 4th audition, I actually said to them, "You better decide, because I'm running out of clothes," And just a couple weeks after my mom passed away, I found out that I had the job. And it was just, I felt like she always arranged it, because I wasn't even right for the part originally. But
well, that's, yes, you were much younger than they had originally thought. But,
right.
I have to tell you, I have a very similar story in that my late husband, Ralph Howard, who was a broadcaster, and he worked with Howard Stern, and he was 1010 Wins, the anchor man for 1010 Wins. He was very, very ill, and I was doing Tootsie, but we were in rehearsal, but we were supposed to go to Chicago, of course, because you know how shows go to Chicago before they come to Broadway. And he was so ill, and I thought, I don't think I can go. Do you know what I mean? Like, how could I go? Yeah. And it was so amazing, because I said, Ralph, I just don't think I can do this. And he forced himself to sit up, and he became very Mama Rose. And he said, if it's the last thing you or I do, you're getting on that plane.
Aww.
And you're going. And what happened was he passed away August 7th, and 8 days later we went to Chicago. It's you know what I mean? It's kind of like it's like you're watching. Yeah,
absolutely.
Watching over. Well, that's quite a story. Now, we do have a picture of Elaine Nardo. I think, Ruby, can you cue that up? This is from the great that Lullaby of Broadway. The wonderful There You Are.
Oh yeah.
And that's really a classic episode.
Oh, it was so much fun. It was done in our 2nd season. That was actually shot. Yeah, that was actually shot November 27th and 28th and 29th, like Wednesday and Thursday. No, Thursday and Friday. No, Wednesday and Thursday of 1979. And it was such an unbelievable experience, because we each had to say what our fantasies were. And I said, well, I'm a Broadway person. I want to do a number. And they were like, All right. And then Pat Birch, who directed Grease who choreographed Grease and Over Here, and then the movie of Grease, she choreographed it for us. So
fantastic. And was Jimmy Burrows the director?
Yeah, Jimmy Burrows was.
Yeah,
Jimmy Burrows was our director. The first 3 years solidly. The fourth year, he only missed a few episodes because he was working on some other things. And then the fifth year, he wasn't there because he was doing Cheers.
Yeah.
So,
but he's a little successful.
A little successful.
A little successful. But that is a classic episode, and everyone is so great in it, and you are just absolutely sensational. And we got to see you sing and dance like what you really do. By the way, I'm just going to say for anyone who's just coming in now, if you're enjoying, please feel free to tip us. The Venmo, there it is, Venmo and PayPal. This is so great. Now, let me ask you this, because you are such a down-to-earth person, but you had a real, you were what, 25? Suddenly you're a television star. You moved to LA, I guess, right? You moved to LA. You're so grounded. How did you keep your grounding? Or maybe you didn't keep your grounding.
No, I think, well, first of all, the family I come from, and then I went into therapy, especially around right before my mother took very ill.
Sure.
And I think that many years of therapy and also getting my entire family involved in therapy, I think that I knew I wanted more than I wanted like a doctorate on myself rather than just
yes.
So I believe in therapy. I believe in so many things like that. And I just feel like, I don't know. I think I always knew I had my family so I could tether out and come back. And I just had very sensible, as crazy as my upbringing was with the dancing school and the beauty shop and everything else in the backyard and all the stuff, the dancing school in the backyard, the beauty shop in the kitchen. I knew who I was because of my family. And so maybe that's what it was.
Yes, it was rice pilaf that kept you solid.
Rice pilaf, that good.
But now wait, I read somewhere, and I don't know where. This could be a complete lie. Did your uncle or cousin have a cat hospital on the roof? And was he the neighborhood astrologer? What the heck was going on there? Am I crazy?
My mother had the dancing school in the backyard with 200 students, including the nuns. She ran a beauty shop out of our kitchen, and it wasn't even it didn't even look like a kitchen. It looked like a hair salon. And upstairs lived my uncle, 10 cats, 2 dogs, 2 birds, a skunk, 150 fish, and his boyfriend, Charles. And he taught art at the Catholic Grammar School next door. He was the neighborhood astrologist, had art classes after school, and he ran a cat hospital on our roof because it was a structure that was like a big, with little individual incubators, and he just was magical with cats. So people would bring over their sick cat and he would nurse them back to health.
Okay, this is killing me. And that's the sitcom.
That's the well, I tried to do it years ago, and it was so many characters. They thought, well, it would sort of lose it. But I'm always thinking about maybe doing it. It's just a lot of characters.
It is a lot of characters, but they're such good characters.
They are. They're such. It's like you can't take it with you. When I saw you in that, it was like amazing, And so that same kind of thing. And people always said to us that I had a very "you can't take it with you" family.
Well, it sounds it, and that was a great production, by the way, that we did. Scott Ellis did an amazing job. All right, so then, you've done so many films. You were in Evening Shade with my friend Michael Jeter.
Oh my gosh, Michael Jeter.
Many people.
My neighbor, because he liked where I lived so much. He liked my house and how it was up in the Hollywood Hills, and he bought the house like a block away from me. So
I stayed in that house many times, darling. I didn't know you then, but there you are. But you've done so much, and then you also had your own talk show.
Yes,
in 1994.
I had my own talk show, but I was up against the OJ trials, So when OJ was picked up for another season because they didn't resolve him, So when he was picked up, they said I could go one of two ways. I could they were either going to cancel me or I should go the Jerry Springer route. And I said, well, that's so not me.
No. No. You did the right thing. But let me ask you, because now I'm doing this crazy virtual show or whatever, and I'm not used to doing this. I'm just used to get my script and, be funny or something, whatever. What would you say you learned from being a good talk show host? What are tips that you could give people?
I'll tell you the number one tip, and I got it from Dick Cavett because I interviewed him, and he said to me, don't think about it as a show. Think of it as a conversation. And he said, if you have just a conversation, people are watching, then it's a show. But it's that natural, authentic flow between two people that's really going to make the difference. And it was so freeing for me.
Yeah. And is that when did we learn? Because people always talk about it with you. When did we learn that you had superior autobiographical memory?
Well, actually, anybody who's ever known me since I was a very little girl knew I had this very unusual memory, and people would call me Memory Kid and UNIVAC, which is the old-fashioned computer, and I was always the family historian because of it. But anyone who knew me, and Leslie Stahl has been a friend of mine since '84 because I did a movie with her husband, and we met on set and just fell in love.
Okay.
So she was offered a story, and they said, we're going to either give it to Diane Sawyer or to you. And she said, it's not that unusual. My friend Mary Lou Henner has the same memory. And they said, okay. So that they did it on Diane Sawyer interviewed
Right.
Price. And then Leslie came to me and she said, it is unusual. They can't find, except they can only find a few more people. We're going to do a big 2-parter. We want you to be part of it. And you're going to be tested on camera. So I thought, okay, well, let's put me in, coach. So we did. And at the end of the day, I had answered over 500 questions because they could find a lot of material on me. And there were so many different memory tests and everything. And at the end of the day, I was just like vibrating. I wanted to keep going and going and going because it was so much fun. And they wired me, put me through an MRI, saw how the neural pathways lit up. They took 300 measurements and found 9 areas 10 times larger than the normal brain, to find
yeah.
And all seem to index that way together. And so, that's what happened. And they put it on the air, and then it became like history. I mean, it's amazing. And it's funny because I'm always like self-correcting. I mean, I hope I said the right 2 days because it was the 28th and the 29th of November.
Oh, that's so vile. I think if they did an MRI, they'd say, where is her brain? Where is her brain?
No, everybody, they don't have a good memory, but they do. Everybody remembers something especially well.
Well, I do remember seeing you on a talk show, and I think Queen Latifah was interviewed, and you said something so interesting to me. For my money, you said you kind of storyboard like the year. Like if she said, I think she said something like 1974, and you said, okay, well, I start with my birthday, April 6th or something, right?
Right.
And then you kind of
Saturday. Right. It lines up. Everything lines up. And I just see every single thing that happens and how it all, kind of comes together. And like the whole year will fill in. It's funny. Yesterday I was taking a walk around Vancouver because as soon as we were out of 2 weeks of quarantine where we couldn't even go outside, as soon as quarantine broke, Candace and I were out like jogging and then walking in the neighborhood. Speed walking. So yesterday I put on an album that I'm not an album, I put in my iPod.
Yeah. Your music.
I was listening to an old Sting album from that I got into in 1988. And I went through every day of 1988 and just went through the entire year because I knew I wanted to walk a long time. And so I would just flash on things. And
Well, we're going to talk a little more about this. It's so fascinating to me. I'd love to bring Squiggs in, so we can have like a little trio here.
Sure.
For people who may not know, this is really the illustrator of Broadway. He has these incredible trading cards called the Lights of Broadway, which we'll discuss later, but everyone in the Broadway community knows him, and he's very, very beloved. His name is Justin Squiggs Robertson. If you don't know him, everyone seems to know him here in New York, and his work is really quite extraordinary, and we're all just crazy about him. Why don't we bring him in? And I'm glad you two kind of know each other already. There he is, and there he is.
Hello. I'm dressing like I have somewhere better to go after.
Sweetheart.
I'm dressing like I have somewhere better to go after, like Jim.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa.
Very sartorial splendor. You've actually done Mary Lou's caricature.
I have, yes. When she was in Getting the Band Back Together, which is a super fun musical, and so she was part of the. There she is, right there in the middle there.
There you are.
You were so good in that, Mary Lou.
Thank you. I loved it. I'm still trying to rock the rocker look. It was like such a great fun.
Yeah, you were totally like rocker hot mom in that. Yeah.
Great.
Can we bring? I know Ruby has a Jason Robert Brown caricature of him at the piano that I just love. There it is.
Oh,
look at that.
That
That is so sort of, in that tradition of Al Hirschfeld.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's very obvious that Hirschfeld is a huge influence on me, and I love his work so much, and I'm carrying on traditions that obviously he did for decades and decades and decades. And that particular piece, I think it was a project for Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, where he was doing some sort of an event or something, and they asked for something, and it ended up not being used for whatever that purpose was. But
it's so fantastic.
So it's out there. So yeah, that's a fun one.
Squiggs, yes, go ahead.
Can I ask, I want to know that when you first think of doing it, because you captured so with just a few, lines, do you just think of what's the most outstanding or the most like what feature on somebody's face most jumps out at you? Like what is it that you like focus on? Sure.
Sometimes that's the case, but I think more than anything, it's how it's how all of the features work together. I think is kind of how I kind of approach things, and also especially if I'm drawing a show that's telling a story, I try to not only draw that person but obviously their character, and try to mirror what's going on stage and that sort of a thing. So there's a lot of stuff to think about. But as far as there are certain people that they almost draw themselves, but most of the time it's just it's kind of focusing on what they're trying to say and doing my best to capture their vibe, their spirit.
Right.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. And let me ask you, because when I was growing up, we always looked at the Hirschfelds because we wanted to spot the Ninas.
Right.
The Ninas. Now, for people who may be joining us and they're going, what is she talking about? Wasn't it his daughter, Nina? And
yes. He first put her name in a drawing the day that she was born. He came from out of town, like seeing a show out of town. He went right to the hospital, and his daughter was born, and he went back to his desk to do his job, and he drew her name in the drawing for the first time, and then it kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and that became, I think he called it like a national insanity or something like that, where he started having to put the number by his signature so people would know how many were in the sketch. Otherwise he would get mail saying, I thought I saw 4, and there were and so
yeah. Would you ever consider doing a little game for us like that, or like would you
Yeah, possibly. It's funny because when I first started drawing for Broadway.com just over 10 years ago, I got that question a lot. Like, do you put a Nina in your sketches? And I was like, oh, I should try, just as a nod to Al Hirschfeld. So I actually started putting Al, because it's a short word. It's very angular.
Oh.
Not only Hirschfeld's first name, but it was also my grandfather's first name. So I thought that would be perfect. But then I realized that most of my sketches are presented online in pixels. And so instead of looking at it in print, I would have had to make it really big for people to actually find it when you're looking at it in, on your little screen or your phone or whatever. So it kind of fell along the wayside, but it's something that I think about a lot. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I went to my house to show you that mine is framed, and you did ours in a heart, which was so sweet because there was so much heart in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He's so good. And now let me ask you this. You have talked about a lot of the influences, Al Hirschfeld, Robert Risco, Stephen Meyer. Have you ever met any of your sort of idols?
I had not actually visited New York City by the time that Al Hirschfeld had passed away. So I missed out on that. I did write a letter, and I got a lovely response back, which was lovely. But I did meet a really fantastic artist, and I'll bet you know him. He's passed since, but his name is Robert Dimschel. And
yes.
Yeah, and he, in addition to his amazing caricatures, he did some posters. I think was it the last production of La Cage aux Folles on Broadway? He did the poster for that, but we became friends. And then he went far too soon. But it was great to meet him. And also he leans more towards the political and journalistic angle. But Steve Brodner is now a friend of mine and a colleague, but I saw that he was teaching continuing studies courses at the School of Visual Arts. And I thought, that sounds amazing. I loved his work for so many years, so I signed up for classes and took class from him at the School of Visual Arts. And then we've become friends, and Yeah, it's really,
That's
really pretty cool.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And Mary Lou, I want to ask you, because you've worked with so many amazing actors, amazing directors, you know, you've worked on productions that like Francis Ford Coppola was the producer, and have you worked with someone that you sort of idolized, and was it a great experience? Were you disappointed? What?
Oh, no, I've never been disappointed in somebody. No, in fact, I always loved as a kid, I loved Blake Edwards movies, you know, everything from the Great Race to Breakfast at Tiffany's to so many films. And when I got to work with him on The Man Who Loved Women, it was my first job right out of Taxi. We became really close friends. I became friends with his family, and it was one of the most freeing experiences of my life. And in fact, I met him at the audition, but then I got to work with Burt Reynolds, and he paired us up in the scene, and he let us ad lib so much that Burt called me that night and offered me a job at his theater and in a movie, and then I played his wife later on. So it's like one thing leads to another. So I've only connected with idols, and it was even better than I had imagined it would be.
Well, that's just fantastic. But it also shows, because I was saying this earlier, Squiggs, you mentioned Mary Lou Henner to people, and nobody says like, "What a bitch." Nobody says that.
No, I haven't heard it. I haven't.
Okay, can I just tell you a fast story? This is so funny. This is funny. My kids, because they know Candace Cameron Bure and I were quarantining together in Vancouver, and they know we're getting along, and they're saying like, "Okay, Candace, next time we FaceTime my mom, just blink twice." If she's really, because we know my mom's got a lot of energy and she can drive you crazy after a while. So blink twice.
Well, that is fantastic. And again, I'm just going to ask people, if you're enjoying, please feel free to tip us. We have to pay for all the platforms. Jim, my producer, has us on a lot of different platforms now, which is so fantastic, but we got to pay for them. And of course, a portion does go to the PFF, and done work.
It's such a great idea. It's so fabulous. You know, this is the opportunity for time for people like create a vacuum and then fill it. And that's
exactly
what you've created the vacuum and you filled it. You know, we didn't know we needed your show, Julie, and now we do.
Well, I didn't know either. It was really Jim who insisted on it. And then I met Ruby, you know, who's 21 and taking over the world. And of course, I hated her on sight, but I said, all right, I'll go with it because I have nothing better to do. And but no, they've been fantastic. And, you know, I've been very, and I'm getting a little choked up here because I've been very lucky. You know, the last couple of years have been very tough. I mean, Squiggs can tell you because, you know, with my husband's passing or whatever, but I got Tootsie, and I had such an amazing experience with Tootsie. And then the global pandemic, and I was like, what in God's name? I'm literally wandering around my home with the 2 cats. What's going to happen? And Jim came in and said, we're going to do this, and you're going to give a portion to PFF, and this is what we're going to do. And I got to say, I'm just so moved, and I'm so delighted.
I've got a fun story about PFF. The Broadway belts that you and Edwin Dells and Michael DeForge, the gang, created to benefit PFF. And they asked me to draw a caricature for the very first Broadway belts of Michael Kuchwara, who inspired the event. So I drew a Hirschfeldian caricature that they presented at the event, and then we walked over to Angus McIndoe, and then we put it on the wall over what was Michael's table. Reporter, you know, well-known, really great guy, and he. And so then years later, Angus was closing, and the theater community gets this notice like 2 minutes before they're hauling up the banquettes. And I hear this story of Ms. Julie Halston, like Dolly Madison going into the White House and saving the George Washingtons, marching up to the 3rd floor of Angus McIndoe, grabbing Michael off the wall. And they're like, what are you doing? Where are you going with that?
I did. I'll never forget it. I really did. I marched up to the 3rd floor and I said, Angus, I know you're closing in about a half an hour. I'm taking Michael with me. And everyone was like, and the waiters and everyone was like, what's happening? I said, I'm taking, and I marched down 3 flights and I walked home. It was, but that was an amazing thing. Now I have to ask you, because, you know, people are going to ask me, they're going to say, can Mary Lou exhibit her great gift?
Oh.
So I thought, Squiggs, can you come up with something to ask Mary Lou, like a year or a
Date or
time in her life?
or in
Okay.
your life, a date that you know, because that's
Or a
Okay.
date that, yes, that's important to you?
when's your birthday? I don't know your
My birthday is August 7th. It's coming up here
Oh,
rather
that's
soon.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do you
Let's
mind
see,
telling me the year?
August 7th. Okay.
If you,
What
I'd have to know the year, but if you don't want to tell the year,
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll let you know. 1972.
okay. August 7th, 19. Oh, I know exactly what I was doing. Okay. August 7th, 1972 was a Monday.
Uh-huh.
And it was, right?
Yes.
Born on a Monday. And I was in the middle of, I was working as a waitress at the resort, Nippersink Manor Resort.
Oh my God.
And friends came to visit me, and we had just had this big fire and everything. Anyway, the fire was like a few weeks before, but 1972. So I was about to, start my third year of college, and then I got Grease during that year, the national company. But I remember that Monday was a very special thing, and somebody came to visit me, and it was somebody that I wanted to be my boyfriend, but he wasn't. And so I was a little disappointed. And that was the day I was kind of like feeling sorry for myself, because he came up to visit me and nothing happened.
Oh, okay.
Well, that day,
Monday. It was Monday.
my mother brought me home. She had given birth to me at like 1:20 something in the morning, and it was like 90 something degrees in Corvallis, Oregon, and the air conditioning had broken in the hospital. So it was a pleasant experience for my mother, but but I don't remember it. So
Yeah.
Well, that is amazing. And also, I have to bring this up because I did watch Mary Lou's YouTubes of Dancing with the Stars. You had wanted to be on that show, didn't you?
I did, very much so, because my mother would have loved the show. She was a dance teacher, as I told you, and that would have been something she would have, but she died before Taxi. So it was something I always wanted to, and I almost got to do it in 2007, and then that didn't work out for whatever reason. So yes, I was on it.
I think we have a picture of you and Derek Huff. Where Ruby will bring that there. Oh,
that's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
You guys both have halos.
Yeah, that was
what
our
are the legs? What are the legs? And I'm not looking at his legs, and he has gorgeous legs, but what are your legs?
The gams.
It's so funny. I do a song. I do a club act as well, and I had just done it at 54 Below on March 4th, right before all of this started. And I was like, Broadway World. I got an incredible review that I can dine out on and everything else. Anyway, it was unbelievable. And then everything was canceled, and I was supposed to do it all over the country, and I'm supposed to go back November 8th, but we'll see what happens. But I do a song about Dancing with the Stars and tell a story about Dancing with the Stars and talk about how hard it was. And I did like a whole updated version, and I guess I could tell you here, the song Pain, the Candor and Ebb song Pain.
Yes.
So I sing about Dancing with the Stars and to the song Pain, and I show all these videos of everything falling apart. And I took pictures the whole time I was doing the show of taping up my ribs and my legs and my ankles and my, just everything. I mean, it's like crazy. So.
Oh no, Squiggs, you have to watch these YouTubes.
I need
I
to.
literally sat there. First of all, I'm lucky I'm sitting. Okay. And I'm not in bad shape. I mean, I'm
We're in great shape.
But no. And it's a miracle that I do musicals. Squiggs, you've seen me. I can't sing or dance, and they keep casting me. You're all crazy. This woman is doing samba, cha-cha, waltz, a jitterbugs, jive. I mean, I never in my whole life, but you really did want to work with Derek, I take it.
I did, but be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. He's a lot of energy. He's a lot of energy.
Not a lot of energy. I wasn't worried about the energy. No, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, well, all right. Well, there's a little moment. Was it when he was rough? Was he tough on you?
Did you guys see Whiplash? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he got so mad at me for saying that. But no, listen, he had a job to do, and
It amazes me on that show. Just, I mean, because you're in great shape, but it's like some of the people that come on that show aren't, we all know what athletes, dancers are, and
Sure.
and for people to pop into that world, it's that's gotta be tough, crazy.
It's hard, and you don't get a day off unless you ask for one. No, they keep you going, but it's a great experience. It's one of the hardest of my entire life. I loved sharing it with all my friends and family and everything else. I was sad that my boys, one of them had graduated from college, and so he was in he was doing a movie, working on the crew and everything else in Santa Fe, so he didn't get to come. And my other son was doing a semester abroad in Prague, so he didn't get to come. So I kind of wish that both of them had been part of it too. But
I know your sister Crystal was interviewed. I saw her being interviewed, and your husband was there.
Husband a lot.
So
My third and final husband. Yeah, I was called my third and final husband. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I know. I get it. I get it. But let me ask you this: were you kind of heartbroken when you finally got off, or like when they finally said no? You're done now.
No, I wasn't. I was
Relieved?
not surprised. No, I wasn't relieved. Let's put it this way. I sort of knew that I was going home and already had a ticket to go visit my son in Santa Fe. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I kind of could see where things were going.
Okay. And now I have to ask you, Squiggs. Or do you like being called Squiggs, or do you want to be called Justin?
Squiggs works great. Yeah.
Okay.
Good name.
Yeah.
Squiggs, the Lights of Broadway is such a phenomenon.
Oh yeah.
They're the trading cards. For anyone who doesn't know, they're the trading cards of Broadway.
Right.
And I remember when it started, I was like, "Where's my card? Where's my card?" I've been in a lot of Broadway shows. Where's my card? I finally got my card. I think Ruby can bring it up. In 2000, there's my card.
That's so cute.
Yeah, the loudmouth blonde. But now tell us a little about the journey of the Lights of Broadway, Squid.
Sure. And Mary Lou has one too.
Yes.
I forgot to send in the graphic, but yes, you have one too.
There you go.
Doing Get in the Band. Yeah.
I have Julie's Tootsie card.
Yeah, we put Tootsie on a card. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the story behind that is I was I've done the Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS flea market for many years. One year, these two kids came to my table and bought some artwork and took it home to their parents. And their mom is Dory Berenstein, a Broadway producer and winning filmmaker. And she saw this artwork. First, their dad saw it, commissioned a piece for Dory and for her birthday. And Dory invited me to lunch at Sardi's, and we talked about projects that we could work together on. And the first thing that came up was trading cards. And both of us had collected baseball cards as kids, and she had given trading cards as gifts for premieres, and I had done a cast sketch where it was trading cards for a production of Damn Yankees that I did one time. And so we thought this would be kind of fun, and it's happened before. Playbill has put out trading cards before with the show's key art and that sort of a thing, and as novelties. But we thought, why don't we make this like baseball cards for Broadway fans, and having illustrations that was the twist, but then having stats and information about people on the back, and educating people on shows and the past and all of the parts of the machine that make Broadway work. And so we started that in 2015, and I'm working on our 10th edition now.
Wow.
Yeah, and so each edition has over 100 cards in it, and all kinds of things. Part of what we do is also, like you're doing here on Virtual Halston, is part of the proceeds go to charity, and those charities include Broadway Cares and the Actors Fund. But also we've done some cards that are the charities are chosen by various folks that are on. It's super limited edition cards where they are. And they can benefit everything from Covenant House to the Humane Society to Planned Parenthood to a long list of really great causes we've been able to send some money to.
And Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, has been very, very supportive of Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. They knew my husband very well, and they've just been really incredible, I must say. Mary Lou, we have a question from a viewer.
Okay.
What is the question? Ruby will bring it up. Question for Mary Lou from Shelley London. How far back can you remember?
Well, I tell people and then they're like, what? But I do remember many things pre 5 years old. I mean, so many.
What?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Very much so.
Wow.
I even remember being baptized. I know people don't believe that, but I wasn't saying, oh, it was a Sunday, but I remember feelings and stuff. But I remember things in the crib. I remember when my brother was a year younger than I am, when he was born. And there's just so many memories that have been stored. And it's not that everything that you've been through is on your emotional hard drive as well. You just don't have the retrieval system, which is what we have. We just who have HSAM, we just have an extraordinary retrieval system. And I think it's also a muscle, that you exercise a lot.
Yeah.
Child, I wanted something a little different from my brothers and sisters because, when you're one of 6, you look for anything that makes you a little bit different. And I think it was just memory. I was definitely born with something, but then I loved exercising it as well. So
have you met the people? There's 6 in the United States that have it? 6, 7?
There's a few more because there were 5 of us on 60 Minutes and one of them has passed away. But so we all have met, and I've met a couple other people. I don't know what the final number is. I know it's still under 100 worldwide. And then within the group, there's a percentile ranking. And so, I think there's 11 of us in that, whatever. But whatever, I love it so much, and I can't imagine not having it. It's like saying, what is it like to have blue eyes or green eyes or brown eyes? If you've had it your whole life, then you just take it for granted. Yeah.
Is it something where whether you if you read a book, you remember passages from books, or is it more like experiences and days?
It's 3-dimensional rather than 2-dimensional because because that's more like just 2-dimensional, like a piece of paper or something. I tested very high on that. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like drunk, but I tested really high on that as well. And so,
man, woman, TV, camera.
Anyway.
Oh, she's a phenom. She's an absolute phenom. You went to the University of Chicago, didn't you?
I did.
That's not, some slouchy college.
Yeah. That's where I met my husband, actually. He was my college roommate's boyfriend, and we reconnected many, many years later. And she hasn't forgiven me, but yeah. So if you want somebody to say,
I read that story, Mary Lou. You were not going to go after him, even though you liked him. You don't do that to girlfriend.
No, I would never have. Oh my gosh, no! They saw me in the original Grease and everything else. No, we all double dated. No. I never broke the girlfriend code. But I figured after 30 years, it was okay to once he and I kind of got together.
I have to say, I broke the girlfriend code once in college, and I still feel bad about it.
Yeah,
I really do. I feel bad about it to this day. They had separated. Do you know what I mean? Like they were separated. But separated doesn't mean like we're over. They just were taking a break from one another, and I kind of crawled in there. Not a good idea. It's a bad idea, girls. Don't do it. It haunts me to this day. Okay. So,
but maybe if you want to wait 30 years and then marry the love of your life.
Yeah, there you go. That's the good thing.
And save his life.
His name is Michael Brown, I believe.
Michael Brown. Yeah.
There you go. Well, now I think we're going to bring Jim in because he has Jim.
Let me just say, Mary Lou was talking about what makes a good talk show host is good conversation. I feel like I'm a Joe Allen with some of the most interesting people in town. This is great chat.
Thank you. Yeah.
We got great guests.
This is what I'm saying.
Can I just say something? I know, people always say, oh, do you have OCD? I've been tested for OCD. I don't have it. Not that there's anything, I would be proud to have OCD. I call it OCO, obsessive compulsive order. I just like things organized. It's the way it is. That's it. OCO. So
we would get along. We would get along very well.
Yeah. You need that Dyson vacuum.
I have one. It's amazing.
We have to talk later.
Before I came to Vancouver, I lived with 6 of us and then 7 of us for the last month. I've never cooked and cleaned and done laundry and scrubbed grout more in my life. I couldn't wait to come here to Vancouver and not work so hard.
Oh, this is fantastic.
You are killing me.
Squiggs has done so many wonderful things for us, but he has, I think, a fantastic cast party, which is your show. Does he?
Yes,
Can we
well,
show that card?
he's been unbelievably supportive of what we do at Cast
Jim has
Party.
been
But
supportive.
he gave us a Lights of Broadway card.
Yes.
Can we
Where
see
is
it?
that? I think Ruby has it.
Oh, come on.
Yay!
That's great.
It's the eyebrows.
It's the
It's
eyebrow.
eyebrows.
Yeah, no. Before I moved to New York, Jim, I'd come to Cast Party, and Jim was already like a big cheerleader of me, even before I hit the town. So I'm very grateful to Jim, and happy to be part of the family. So
Well,
Nice.
and that continues even now. We do, Julie, we do pajama cast party where we have people sing from their home every Monday, and every
I'm
few
on it.
Yes.
done.
totally.
Done.
I'm on it.
Done.
I'll
But
sing a song about my memory. It's really fun. My brother
oh,
wrote this.
perfect.
So much fun. So much
Well,
fun.
we'll get Squiggs on that one because we do very Squiggs cast parties. And he does quick sketches of all the performers, and then does this little animated thing when it's over. The people can't believe they're getting this present. He's such a great giver and such a supportive guy of the community, and I mean he's beloved. Let's say it.
And as is Mary Lou. And Mary Lou, you're a best-selling author. You have 9 books. Are you going to
Yes.
work on another book soon?
10. Yeah, I'm working on my 11th. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
11. Okay, 10 books. Okay. You see, you're faster than I am. I can't.
I'll take my Wikipedia page or something because it's so weird. But can I just say something about I know this is like you're going to get whiplash from this segue, but I want to make a point about how incredible, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it, how incredible it is that Lin-Manuel Miranda and ABC and the original company that they put on, Disney Plus, the production. Okay. It's pretty amazing. And everything that I've heard about it, I'd seen the show and everything, and everybody's talking about how extraordinary it is, which it is. But one of the things I think it's saved all of us is we are not going to have to watch bad high school productions of Hamilton, because now they can go right to the source and see the originals, not just relying on the music, but now seeing how the job is done. And no one loves high school productions more than I do. I did the hair and makeup for 21 of the high school productions for my kids' school. I mean, I did the hair of Ben Platt and Beanie Feldstein. I've known them since they were
Oh my God.
Catherine Gallagher, all those kids. I have like unbelievable photos of all of them. But here's the thing. That production is so great, and it's really bringing theater. So I just wanted to do a little timeout tribute to that whole.
No, and listen, and I'm going to add to this. My mother was 92 years old when she saw Hamilton. 92. She was so excited. She saw Lin-Manuel on, Kelly and Michael. It was like Kelly and Michael at that point. And she calls me up, Mary Lou and Squiggs, and she says, "Oh, I want to see that Hamilton, that Lin-Manuel. He's very charming." I said, "Mom, you don't just walk in. Like, you know what I mean? It's a hard ticket to get." She goes, "Oh, well, you're Julie Halston. You'll get it." Right. She thought I was, someone else. Of course, I did know the publicist, and he did get her ticket. She saw it at 92. I met her afterwards. She was so adorable. She was in a wheelchair at that point. Tim Petalino, the house manager, brought her down, got her in her seat. It was amazing. I met her afterwards. I said, "Mom, what did you think of Hamilton?" This is what she said, Mary Lou and Squiggs. She said, "Well, it's not Cats, but the stagecraft was magnificent." My mother at 92 was talking about the stagecraft of Hamilton. And then I asked her, because she loved all the characters. She thought that, David Diggs was marvelous as, Lafayette. But then I said, "Now, who was your favorite character?" And she said, Tim Petalino, the house manager.
Oh,
Oh. I
So
love
isn't that great? Isn't that great? We lost Mary Lou for a minute.
we lost her momentarily.
Momentarily, but we're going to
Ruby
bring her back.
Ruby is out in the alley looking for her.
Okay.
She's behind the studio.
We'll bring her back. This was an
Yes.
incredible Squiggs.
I love your mug, by the way.
No, darling, maybe you can make a video of what I sound like, Squiggs. Come on, you too can win.
Guess who helped me with that, Julie Lynn? He did.
He did.
He did. He
I
made
okay.
it be. He made it happen.
That's a riot. That's a
You know,
riot.
you know what's going to make it to another mug likely?
Yes. Oh, Hazmatty. Hazmatty. Oh my
That's Maddie. Which
And
I
you'll get the eyelashes if you win, darling.
I will look forward to that. I'll try. No, I'm not going to do a good job. But I
Hazmatty.
do feel you with the whole you getting your manicure. I got my hair cut for the first time in 6 months, I think, yesterday, and it was like it felt very liberating and
Yes.
very safe. My barber, is doing all the the precautions and
Yes.
but it was funny because I'm like sitting out on the sidewalk as he's coming back from his lunch.
Yes.
And he's like, "You want to get your hair cut today?" He's from Albania, and he's
Good.
fantastic. Yeah, he's this fantastic, classic barber, and so good. I love him so much. But he's we wore the masks and all that. But that was
You look great. You look terrific. Is Ruby with us? What happened to our Mary Lou?
Well, she might actually have left the building only because we don't have her cell number to call her. We have her publicist. So if in fact we don't get her back, we love her.
she's
She's fantastic, right?
She is.
Oh,
She's the kind of guest everyone would want to have at all.
That's
times.
right. That's right.
And when Joe Allen opens again, come on.
Yes. Yes.
Let's go.
I want to do this show.
We love you. We love
Julie,
you.
don't you think we should do this show from Joe's? Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh no.
In that back
that's my
table?
dream.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
I know, from the back table where they
Back
always seat
table,
us.
And here we are. We'll have I'll have my little blue Yeti.
Nice.
I'll have my blue Yeti.
We all got a Yeti.
We all got a Yeti.
All God's chillin' got Yetis.
Guys, this was so fantastic. I want to encourage people to once again tip us if you can. We have to pay for the platforms. I hope you enjoyed. We had so much fun. We're going to continue to entertain you throughout the summer. There we are, PayPal, Venmo. We love each other and we love doing this. We love Mary Lou Henner. And we now have the Cast Party Network on YouTube.
Yes.
So
That's
please
where you can
subscribe to
find this
that.
show. And you know what? If you click subscribe, we'll let you know when new shows are coming up. We're adding all kinds of new stuff to the network, so we're very excited.
Jim, you're a mover, you're a shaker.
I'm not.
You're a producer. You make you're like James Cameron, the director. You're a mogul.
That's what I am here in my bedroom.
You're
in
Swifty Lazar. People are going, who is Swifty Lazar? You're Swift. You're making things happen. I'm so delighted.
Irene Ryan.
Fantastic. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram, actress Julie Halston. What else do we have to say? I think that's
follow Squiggs.
And Squiggs.
Where do we find you, Squiggs?
On Instagram, Squiggs Robertson, at Squiggs Robertson. Also, just go to my website, which is squiggsonline.com, SQUIGS online.com.
And you sell your art online too.
I do, yeah.
Tell people to follow the real Mary Lou on Twitter. And Jim, we're following you on everything.
Follow me.
We'll follow you anywhere.
Point. This was incredible. I had so much fun. Who knew that these two people would end up being a great duo?
So much fun.
You did. There she is.
We were just singing your praises.
Oh, you know what happened? It's strange because all of a sudden the weather changed. These dark clouds come in and I got disconnected. And I thought maybe it was you guys, but I know it was me because the lighting changed. Everything changed in here. It was like Wizard of Oz or something.
We
Mary
were
Lou,
so
I
sad.
have your cell phone. I'm going to call you. I have your cell phone.
You must, so we can exchange things. I thought maybe it was like
so good.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
I did. I kept thinking, oh, does this mean I can come back and finish? I will come on anytime you want. I am a huge fan. I'm going to talk about it, tweet about it, Insta about it. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be part of your family now.
Well, we're thrilled, and you should go. As with Squiggs, you'll go on Cast Party and you'll sing.
That's it. I'm there.
So excited.
Put me in, coach.
Thank
You're
you.
on.
Thank you both so much. This
Oh,
was
thank
really
you.
wonderful. This was special.
Yeah. Thank you.
Special.
Thanks.
Thank you. And thank you, Ruby. Thank
Ruby.
you.
Thanks, Ruby.
Thank you, Ruby, for
It's
being
so funny. In my house, my boys are 24 and 26. It's like, is there a millennial around? Is there a millennial? So you have to get a resident millennial.
Absolutely.
wonderful. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Thank
Valentine.
so much, Mary. Bye.
What more is there to say?